how do you work with Codex? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I'm working with Codex. I'll show you how to fix a simple little issue. I have been working on a side project that I sort of just let kind of fall apart. I haven't touched it in a long time. It's almost been a year. I built this app to help me with videos, and I want to show you what it looks like. So this is super easy slides, and this is a markdown. So I've got markdown here, which is just text-based stuff, and I've got slides here. So you can see I've got a bunch of different slides, and I can play them with the play button right here, and it'll go full screen, which is great. So then I can just use arrow keys to step through them, or I can like swipe down on the trackpad to sort of get through all my slides. Super cool. I support a windowed mode. So if I go instead of full screen, I can actually present it with a little pop-up, and I can toggle between full screen and windowed mode. This goes over any window. So if I were to full screen, let's say we go into Ghosty, we full screen, this can stay up, and then if we're lucky, we can pin it. I don't know if this will work. It might not pin to the very bottom. I think it'll pin up top. There's still a couple bugs I'm working on, but I can just pin it here and talk about it. If I want it like inset a little bit, I can do that. There is an off-screen bug where it gets a little bit funky. I have to grab it again because it has disappeared, and just rerun it. It'll bring it back. So I could inset it. I can do a more compact layout so it's not taking up the whole thing. It's kind of nice. So that is the app, but I've just used Codex to just make it so much nicer. I should be able to see my preview window. I don't see. So that looks like that's a bug. There should be a preview window. So maybe there's two things we can fix. And then I can just, the power of this is I don't just want to write Markdown and generate like one style of slides. I've got a little overlay here, which is also nice, and then a whole ton of keyboard shortcuts that you can bring up. So we can just dismiss that with the escape key. But like sometimes I want different styles of videos. And so let's say I don't want the headings to be labeled. You'll notice that these don't have numbers anymore. So the headings are these right here. So I can auto number those and the numbers come back. I don't have to write numbers here. Like I don't have to be like 3, blah, 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 blah. I just let it figure out the number. If I like want to rearrange these, I don't want to renumber things. So that's why I built this. And then sometimes you want to do a listicle. So that's where item count is useful. So like this is an item, these are items, these are items. And I don't want to count these up. I don't want to number them separately. So I can just sort of group them into sections. And so then I have an overview slide, which I can turn on and off. There's an agenda slide, so you just turn that on and off if you don't want it. And you just sort of go through your headlines. You can turn those headlines off. You can turn the agenda off, and then it just becomes like a listicle, where it's like this is the flow that you want to go through. So then we go ahead, we present, we can go full screen, and then you can just walk through those items. Super useful. I use this in my YouTube videos now. I'm trying to use more of it just because it creates a more structured video. And then there's just all of these different controls that allow you to do that. Now, if you don't care about all that, you can just hide that and then just work with this. And somewhere I've got another window. Do I need to do a new window? Okay, there it is. So this is the preview. So if you have a teleprompter, you can put this on your preview, and then you can just click. That doesn't appear to be working. So a couple more things to fix. Clicking here should advance it. There's something weird with the keyboard shortcuts on this one. It is not working. It should work once I'm presenting from here. So Command R is currently my play button. That'll run it here. This does work on multiple monitors. There is a little overlay. If you hover over here, you can get access to those keyboard shortcuts. Um, I just it was designed for me, and now what I'm trying to do is make it a little bit more user friendly. So you can exit full screen, or you can hit escape, or you can go to the overlay mode and you can just pin this to wherever you want it on the screen. I still want to find a better solution for this. I just don't like how it doesn't pop out enough. But I kind of also like it not being obstructive, and being able to like pin it to different areas is super nice. There are some quirks with um, pinning to the bottom and the top. Still trying to work through some of those issues. But overall, it's very helpful. I might start pinning just to the top middle. As long as it's just like a listicle style thing, it sort of keeps you focused on what you're talking about. Sometimes the middle works, but I don't know. It's really up to you how you want to present. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to work this into videos that I've done or plan to do. So having numbered things when you're doing videos just keeps people a little bit more engaged if they know, okay, these are the like 10 things I'm going to talk about. So that's kind of why I designed this, is I wanted to help with retention, but I also wanted to make it super simple to make slideshows. I don't want to open up Keynote and create new slides. And so that's why Super Easy Slides exists. It is for first and foremost an app for myself. But I spent 2 days working with Codex with GPT 5.2 and made it a lot better. So if you're interested in downloading this, I've got the test flight link. So far, I think we've had like 40 some people, 47 people have downloaded it. So I'm looking for feedback. If you want to try it out, just click the link down in the thread. Thanks for watching, and I hope this was interesting. I think Codex is a complete game changer. I've got another video on how to work with Codex, so if you want more details, we can talk there. But let's just go through like 2 things I want to clean up. So I'm gonna exit full screen mode since we're gonna try and fix something real quick. If we go back over to here, the thing I want to fix is when I go into the full screen mode, I don't love this icon, so let's just have it fix it. So this is like out of full screen, but there's like a different icon for that. So I kind of want to use the icon from SF Symbols. So let's go and let's just see if it can figure it out. And then I gotta copy this because this is some other thing that I'm going to want to explore in a bit. Okay. Okay, so I can type this out or I can talk to it with Whisper Flow. Okay, so I want to use a standard full screen expand and shrink icon for full screen and overlay mode. That's coming from SF Symbols. It's actually right here, one of these guys. So I'm going to go the left one. To me, these are popping better. I don't know if I can select both, if that's going to copy them. Copy 2 names. Let's see if I can just fix that. So I probably wouldn't need to do that, but like we do that, and then I want this icon to change because that doesn't really mean much to me. There was something else I want to put here. I don't remember what it was. And then the other issue that we were having, we'll use Whisper Flow. So Whisper Flow is this other tool here where you can just dictate stuff. It's up in my menu bar, but I can't see it because I need to collapse some things or close some things. Like we quit that. And there we see it. So this allows me to just talk to it. So, and we have a compact, so it's gonna think a little bit. Okay, so let's talk to WhisperFlow. For some reason, the keyboard shortcuts don't work on the preview screen. Like my arrow keys aren't working. I just get a bunch of error sounds when I try to use them. Also, I don't seem to have a way to bring up the preview screen if I close it. It's not in the list of windows. So I would like a permanent menu item for both the window and the editor in the window area. So could we figure out how to do that? All right, something like that. Help me think through anything I would need to do in this case. I was able to get the window to appear when I did Command N. I don't know if that's the best practice, unless we're a document-based app, which I feel like we need to move towards, but that's not a right now thing. Okay, so we'll just send that and sort of see what happens. I do have this on, it's probably going to think too much. I've got this on extra high. So it might be overthinking. Actually, before we go any further, let's copy this. I'm just going to clear that with Command C. Let's go model. I was having issues with some of this stuff, like just being some of the stuff, it was messing up my layout. My layout is very particular. There's probably a better way to do this, but to get like this overlay, like there's actually you can't see it, but there's like a window apparently here. That's super weird. And that's all the transparent area around it. So it's a little bit weird, but that is the transparent area of, and it's a app kit window or panel. That allows me to be over all screens, and probably my integration with SwiftUI is not ideal, but it works enough. And then Codex broke it today, and it was just annoying. So I have to be careful what I ask it to do. And this is one of the rough edges you have with Codex is sometimes things will fail. Okay, so hopefully that is fixed. I'm just going to paste the next thing, get that going on that, and let's go back over to Xcode, just rerun it and see what happens. And we've got to run the slideshow. So if we look here, we see the expand thing, and it's got the wrong one here. See, it's not super intelligent. And there's the expand. So I didn't give it any guidance on which one to use where. Maybe I need to use the unfilled one just to match the style of the others, or I just switch the others to be more iconic. I think I'm leaning more towards that is let's use filled for all of them and just make sure it switches back. And so here I would just ask it to update it. Before you fix those keyboard shortcut issues, let's fix the icons. You put the wrong one in the wrong spot, so it's already fixed it. The expand needs to be on the overlay, and the shrink needs to be on the full screen view. I need you to also switch all icons to use the fill state. So change the X icon, the question mark icon to use the fill icon just so that they pop a little bit and they match on both the overlay and the full screen. So you can see how like quickly, I just sent that over WhisperFlow. You can see how quickly that this can just like crank out stuff. All right, let's see if any of this works. I don't necessarily want to show preview. I just want the editor. So it didn't name it exactly right. Window menu item do, it's already done, dude. Editor and do, what's the other thing called? Preview. and I spelled item wrong. So let's see if it figures this out. And let's go to Xcode, run it, and see what happens. Okay, we'll go run, hover over this. Now we've got those new icons, they're filled in. We've got the expand icon here. That worked great. We go over here, shrink down. It didn't. I don't know if there's a filled in version of that one. That's okay for right now. And that worked. Okay, so let's see if we have the preview. So under window, see now I have two sets, and this is what I kind of want to unify. Because there's two windows. There's the editor and the other. So if I close this, I close this, the whole purpose is if I'm in my slideshow, I want to get back to those, and they don't seem to be here. Wait, oh, they're right here. Okay, so I probably need a line to separate. So I click preview, there we go. This is hiding everything, so let's move this to the top right corner. Whoops, that's the one bug that I had to figure out how to fix. I think the default size of this needs to be smaller, or I need to adapt the layout. Right now it's static. And if I click edit, this will bring up the editor. So that's one way to get there. Or I can go to window and now click editor. So I don't know how Xcode does this. Let's look at how Xcode does it. Go into Xcode, we go to window right here, and we see a line, and then these are all of their things. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So we go back to Super Easy Slideshow, go to window. I need a line above that. So let's ask it for that. Please add a line above the preview or editor menu items so that they stand out as a separate entry. So we just do that. And we should have a fix real quick. Most of today I was working on high, so it took a little bit longer. And so it just adds the divider, super simple. We go ahead and run. And let's see if the preview actually fixed the stuff. So now we've got our editor. Go to window, we see editor and preview. I don't know if I should see both. So that's a question. And I click on preview. I don't know best practices. Like if I'm in Xcode and I go to window and I click on devices and simulators, we go to like this guy, and then I go back to window. See, I don't see that duplicated here. So let's ask it. Maybe it's because it's a panel. In Xcode, when I go to the window drop down, I don't see the thing twice. I just see one entry for the windows. But in our app, I'm seeing it twice. Help me reason about this. Is that because Xcode's got panels instead of windows? Can you help me reason? Or is there a way to hide the windows if we're going to have dedicated buttons that are always there? And I expect if you click these, it should always show the window, or maybe toggle it and hide it if you click it again. I'm not entirely certain if I want it to hide it from the menu, but always bring it forward and activate it. And so then we can grab that screenshot. So here is that. Try to drop that in. And so look at, was it devices and simulator? How was that written? Devices and simulators. Okay, and then I could show it what I'm seeing. Just drag this over. Okay, just do that. But you can see like how quickly you can make changes. I've got 2 help entries, so that's like another quick fix. Queue that up. And so each of these is just like, it's one little thing, like I could do it. No help. Awesome. And then the keyboard shortcuts right here. So I hope this was helpful. This is how I'm working with Codex. This is like vanilla. Like I don't think do I have an agents file here? I do not have an agents files. I have a readme, a very primitive readme. Open plan. I did start transcribing stuff into a plan file. But that is very primitive and it's just based on the working code right now. Okay, so it's telling us it could make it click to hide. I don't necessarily want that, so let's go ahead, go back to Xcode, and let's see what happens. You can see like I am flying with changes right now. I'm not writing any code. I'm not even looking at the code. And this is in the menu. So we see help is now unified. Keyboard shortcuts brings that up. If I click it again, it goes away. This one, we just have preview and editor. We don't have the extra windows. Currently, okay, now I can't close that window. So I can use keyboard shortcuts, but I can't use the close shortcut, which is kind of weird. So it's just like these little nuances. Like if you ever develop Mac apps, like there's a ton of things that you need to test. But this just makes it so easy to be like, okay, this is the functionality I want. These are the things that we need to change. And then you can go ahead and do it. It's incredibly powerful. If this was helpful, hit the like button, share this with someone if you think that this would be useful. If you want to see more things like this, or if I need to explain it in a different way, like more of a tutorial, let me know. I'm just showing you like what's actually working. This is all cutting edge stuff with the latest frontier model from OpenAI, which is fantastic right now. And we're going to get something that's better than this potentially. It's just gonna get better and better until, I don't know, AI takes over. So until it takes over, you can really leverage this to create products that you've always wanted to create. You can publish that app that you've wanted to publish, but maybe there's a couple gotchas you weren't sure about. Like for me, one of those gotchas was how I handled this right here. I have a special on this slide. Go full screen. I have a special title and subline. What do you call it? Subhead and title or headline. And I wanted to display those a certain way. I was using just a single here, and you'll notice that will put it now all on one line. Before, my parsing was not great, and so what I decided is I'm just going to have a special symbol. It's just going to be a double colon that will allow me to create this special thing. So that's another thing I have to add with my help is I need to have like formatting help because it's mostly markdown, but I'm going to have a couple nuances like that, which gives you a little bit of flexibility when writing these. So it's not quite markdown, but mostly markdown with a couple extra things. But I don't want to make it so that I have to like add like special like slide breaks and stuff like that. Other people do that, and I just don't want that. I want this to be essentially how I write. and then let this auto-generate the slides. So if you have an idea for a tool that's going to help your productivity or help someone else, like you are your best first customer, and you're going to know what features work and which ones don't. You're going to use it in a bunch of videos. I've used this in a ton of different videos. I made it because I was doing so I used it in how I use Codex GPT with Xcode, my workflow. And then I made it for a bunch of my, they weren't popular, but my keyboard shortcuts videos. I'd hit a bunch of those and they got barely any views. But it was just kind of a fun project to work on. Apparently I have a lot of videos. I don't publish every single one. There's a couple I need to publish. Wow, this is going back way, I guess it was the start of last year. Way back. Man, I make too many videos. All right, these keyboard shortcut videos. Barely any views. I think the shorts have gotten more views. But this is the reason I made it, is this video walks through all these different keyboard shortcuts. And I thought this was a kind of a nice way to sort of go through them. If we look at one, you on YouTube, you can see I'm doing overlay, and then I'm just walking through numbered shortcuts, showing how it works. And so for this one, I just kept it on screen in the middle, and that allowed me to show using the keyboard shortcut. Super nice. Along with this over here, that's a different app, Keycaster. So that's why the app exists. And now it's better and other people can use it. And I fixed a bunch of things. So I'm going to have a new build probably tomorrow that's going to have these other fixes in it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in another video.